Eli was a retired engineer. Most days were quiet now, predictable, the kind of life built after years of solving problems that never slept. That morning, he stood by the window with a cup of tea, watching the city move the way it always did. And then he felt it, a shift in the grid, not a sound, not an alarm, just a wrongness. Eli had a unique ability. He could sense when a system was beginning to fail, long before it showed symptoms. Years of work in deep inside infrastructure had trained his mind to notice patterns others missed. He alerted his old company. The agent on the line sounded distracted, almost irritated. "We'll look into it," the voice said. Then the call ended. Eli sent an email afterward. Detailed, precise, calm. He wasn't sure anyone would read it. He stared at the screen for a long moment, then closed his laptop. "It's not my problem anymore," he told himself, and he left it there. Belief is easy when nothing is demanding it. The real test came 3 nights later. The city lost power just after midnight. Not all at once, not dramatically. Lights dimmed block by block. Traffic signals froze in place. Transit systems stalled mid-route. Trains stopping where they weren't meant to stop. Phones still worked, but networks lagged. Emergency lines stayed open longer than they should have. It wasn't a blackout. It was worse. A slow failure. The kind that turns calm into panic because no one knows where it ends. Eli felt it immediately. Not fear. Pattern. Failures didn't spread randomly. They moved in sequence, like pressure following invisible lines beneath the city. Old paths, old shortcuts, old compromises buried under concrete and code. He stepped back to the window. Intersections stalled one by one. Buildings flickered, then went still. Too quiet for this hour, and it wasn't finished. Lena called. She is someone that known his abilities beside his old boss. "You seen this?" she asked. "Yeah," Eli said, "and it's not stopping on its own." Officials would blame the infrastructure later. News would call it a coincidence. Eli knew better. This was the same pressure he'd felt before. Only this time, it wasn't contained. Whatever fed on hesitation had found a larger system. And if it kept spreading, the city wouldn't just shut down for the night. Hospitals would lose backup timing. Transit failures would strand thousands. Emergency coordination would fracture, not chaos, collapse by delay. Eli didn't wait for instructions. That was the difference now. He traced the pattern through old city schematics, abandoned routing maps, forgotten redundancies no one maintained anymore. The pressure wasn't attacking the system, it was exploiting indecision. Every automated delay, every handoff without ownership, every moment where responsibility was passed instead of taken. It gathered where no one stepped forward, at the central transfer hub beneath the old municipal district. If that node failed completely, the city would stall for days. If Eli was wrong, he'd be standing alone underground while everyone else waited for permission. Lena met him at the stairwell entrance. "You don't have to do this by yourself," she said. "I know," Eli replied, "but I do have to go." She studied him, searching for hesitation. There wasn't any. "Then don't rush," she said. "Trust what you feel." Below ground, the air felt heavy, not dangerous, resistant. Systems flickered without fully dying. Alarms chirped, then went silent. Everything waited. The pressure returned, not as fear, as doubt. "You're not qualified. You're not authorized. You're not enough." Old instincts surfaced. Wait for confirmation. Wait for backup. Wait until someone louder arrives. Eli didn't argue with the thoughts. He acknowledged them, then moved anyway. He rerouted manually where automation hesitated, bridged delays others would have waited out, restored flow instead of perfection. The pressure fought back, not violently, but by overwhelming him with options. Too many choices, too many consequences. That's where his ability mattered. Eli didn't need certainty. He needed alignment. He chose one decision after another, clean, direct, unapologetic. The system responded. Light stabilized, signals resumed, transit routes unlocked in sequence. Above ground, the city exhaled. People would say it resolved itself. That backups worked as designed. Eli knew the truth. Systems don't recover when everyone hesitates. They recover when someone believes they're allowed to act. When he surfaced, Lena was waiting. "You okay?" she asked. Eli nodded, exhausted but steady. "I didn't fix everything," he said. She smiled slightly. "You fixed what mattered." The city didn't celebrate him. No headlines, no recognition. But it moved again. And this time, Eli didn't wonder whether he belonged in the moment. He knew. Belief didn't make him fearless. It made him available. Available to step in when others paused. Available to trust abilities shaped quietly over years. Available to act without permission. That night taught him something important. Belief isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up when systems fail and someone decides not to wait. The next morning, Eli's phone rang. A familiar number. His old boss didn't bother with small talk. "Was that you?" he asked. "The grid, last night." Eli paused, then said simply, "Yeah, it was me." There was silence on the line, then a breathy laugh. "Well," the boss said, "thank you a lot." He hesitated, then added, "How would you feel about coming back?" Eli leaned back in his chair, tea warming his hands. "I would," he said, "but only if I stay in the background." Another pause. "There's an old system nobody's been taking care of," Eli continued. "I'd like to be in charge of that." This time, Eli could hear the smile on the other end. "Done," the boss said. "Oh, and by the way," Eli added casually, "I called before the blackout. Felt something was wrong. Your agent didn't seem thrilled." The boss sighed. "I'll check on that." He thanked Eli again and hung up. Lena was sitting across from him, watching steam rise from her cup. "So," she asked, "are you going back to work?" Eli smiled. "Just a little." "Yeah," he said. She smiled back. "That's great." They sat there quietly after that. No alarms, no pressure. Just tea, morning light, and the kind of calm that comes from knowing you finally trusted yourself when it mattered.